Doing alright, and if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light.
What's going on, SC430 community? My name is Henry. Typically this would be part 2 of the alternator and power steering line replacement, because if you saw part 1, if you haven't, go make sure you watch that to know what's going on. But basically, in the midst of putting the car back together, I ended up finding a pretty catastrophic leak, if it wasn't fixed right away. So basically, that's where I ended up leaving off. And if you haven't seen on my Facebook post, I did post about, while I was editing part 2 of this video, what you're watching right now. While I was editing it, I was compiling all my files and things together to make it nice and easy to, you know, organize and edit and whatnot. And I made an oopsie while clearing out some files that were no longer used, and I accidentally deleted a little too much than what I was trying to delete. And when trying to recover my files, they ended up corrupting the entirety of part 2 while I was in the middle of editing them too. So I'll show on screen what that kind of looks like on my end when it gets corrupted. So basically I lost all the footage of me fixing the power steering, but this video will just be me kind of explaining how I did it. So in the case that you need to do it, you can do it through kind of what I try to explain and show screenshots of, until I have to end up doing it again to another vehicle. Then I'll re-record it, no problem. But anyways, we ended up leaving off. So I'm using my car as an example right now. This is Cypress. So basically where we left off, this line right here was leaking really bad. So basically what I had to do to obviously take it out, so remember I didn't have any of this air intake in yet, we only had the radiator. Basically you have to go back and remove the belt again, right, because I had the belt on in part 1, and then you have to take off the power steering pulley again and take out the alternator. So the reason to do that is just to have a little bit more space to get to the power steering line mount that's in there. I'll show that on screen, but basically there's 3 mounts for that pressure line. There's going to be one on the subframe, and then there's going to be 2 on both sides of the transmission, because it goes underneath the transmission, the power steering pressure lines, and then it goes back over and then onto the power steering rack. Those mounts are 10mm screws, so make sure you use a very small 10mm wrench, otherwise you will not be able to get your hand in there. It will be a little bit tough, so be patient with it. And then just to make it easier on ourselves here, when I in the part 2 I eventually showed you how to put that line that busted back together, and then believe it or not, when I was doing testing for it, the other pressure line broke as well. So I ended up having to swap out all the power steering lines for the customer. So basically, once you take those mounts out, the lines are going to be free, but to take them out, you have to obviously undo it from one pressure line hose is going to go to the reservoir itself, and then there's going to be a 17 millimeter on the power steering rack, and then there's obviously another 17 millimeter on the pump itself. So you want to take that one out because that's the main line. But for the reservoir one, you don't really have to. It's kind of hard for me to explain, but I'll make sure to put subtitles and screenshots and pictures and all that. But basically, to be able to get to the two 17 millimeters, the two pressure lines that go, to the steering rack itself, it's very, very difficult to do it from underneath the car. So what I ended up having to do was taking out the driver's side front wheel, and then using, I believe, a 17, I could be wrong, I think it's 17 impact socket. I had to pop out the tie rod end, and you have to take the castle nut, right, the cotter pin and castle nut off of the tie rod, and then you use a specialty tool to pop the tie rod out of the actual thing that it sits in. And then from there you should be able to turn the wheel off to the side. And don't forget also, you have to take the caliper off as well. It's just for space. I don't think you need to, but for space, if you need to, you gotta take the caliper off. But then basically, you'll be able to turn what's left of the wheel, right, all the way to the left, or all the way to the right, so that you'll eventually see a little opening of the power steering rack, and you'll see the two lines that'll hook over and on to the power steering rack. So then you would use a long ratchet, right, in the socket, hold it in there as tight as you can, right, and then loosen it, break it loose, and then take it off. And then there's going to be obviously some fluid leaking, so keep that in mind. But there's going to be two there, right? You take all the mounts off, you take the one here in the front in the engine bay, and then basically it's pretty much free. The only crappy part is when you take it out, it's obviously a really long line, so you kind of have to like jiggle it around, bend it a little bit to kind of feed its way out. But eventually, how I ended up feeding it out over the sway bar and then out, so then it comes out. So I'll show on screen what they ended up looking like. They were pretty busted up just from age. And then when you put it back in, it's basically going in the reverse order. So you definitely need to be patient with it, especially putting it back in, because you don't want to bend it too much. Otherwise, when you try to line up the bolts, the mounts, things like that, it's not gonna line up perfectly. So, but you do have to unfortunately kind of bend it a little bit to feed it back through over the subframe, underneath the transmission, and then back over to the power steering rack. So it's a little iffy to do. It's definitely a crappy job to do, and it definitely costs a lot. But I ended up holding the customer's car for 2.5 weeks, and I felt bad because it was his daily car, and I only had originally charged him just for that one reservoir return hose. So I cut him a break and I just did all the labor for free. I just had him pay for the parts, but he ended up tipping me for all the honest work and things like that, which I do appreciate, even though it could have been a more expensive job. But it is what it is. You live and you learn about that type of stuff. So once I have my business actually officially running, I'll probably be a little bit better with quoting out and making sure to charge for the worst, and then obviously refund later if it ends up not being that bad of a job. But anyways, once you put everything back together, you put the power steering pressure lines back in, you put the mounts on, you feed the hose back to the reservoir, you feed the hose 17 millimeter onto the power steering pump itself, you put the pulley back, alternator back, belt back, radiator, air intake, all that good stuff. Then you fill up the reservoir with power steering fluid. It's ATF something, I honestly can't remember, but it does say it on the cap. It's going to be Dextron type ATF. So usually I get that stuff at the dealership, because it's, when you get it, it's going to be like a Toyota bottle, because that's what's used. Then when you fill it up, you want to go a little bit over the max, because you let air in, right, taking these pressure line hoses up. So don't jack the car down right away. Keep it up while you test it first. So then when you fill it up just a little bit over, start the car and let it, warm up a little bit. It will start slowly draining some of it, and then you just want to just keep pouring it in till it hits the max. So and then once you see the level kind of like level out, then you want to have a second person go to the steering wheel, and basically you want to have them turn the steering wheel all the way to the right as far as they can go, hold it in place for 2 seconds, and then go all the way to the left, hold it for 2 seconds, and you just keep going back and forth while you're filling up the power steering fluid, making sure it doesn't go empty, and making sure when you do this that the engine is hot and warmed up, so that when you fill it up, you know how far to fill up the reservoir. So eventually, once you start, you'll stop seeing the bubbling coming up from the actual reservoir itself. Once you stop seeing the bubbling after they keep turning it back and forth for 2 seconds, things like that, then you're basically good to go. So then you just top it off to the hot max level, put the cap back on, and then shut the engine off, and then you're basically good to go. You will, for the first, I'd say, week and a half, 2 weeks, you'll still feel the steering wheel it'll feel super loose and then a little stiff here and there. That's just because it's still removing the air bubbles out of it. But obviously you can only do so much, but just as an FYI, if you do feel like your steering feels a little funky, you do need to give it some time, and it will eventually go away, and it'll be really, really smooth steering. But yeah, it's unfortunate that the video is corrupted. It's kind of just like one of those like YouTube things that it happens every once in a while, whether it's intentional or not, or if it's just the computer just being wacky. Because most of the time that I've heard that sometimes the files just corrupt just on its own. So it's always good to keep a backup. I made the mistake of being too confident and deleting the backup, so that's on me, because I was only able to recover some of the videos that I made after the fact. But part 2 of this specific video was going to be about an hour-ish too, an hour and a half maybe, showing you everything on how to do everything, how to put everything in, the issues that I ran into, things like that. And unfortunately it just corrupted, so can't do much there. So yeah, so I apologize that part 2 ended up being a letdown compared to part 1. But if you have any questions about fixing your power steering, feel free to hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, or even emailing me. I don't mind helping you guys out, because it can be a little bit of a challenging task, but it is possible. It just takes a lot of time, so you have to be very, very patient with it. But yeah, I think that's it. I got some other videos coming out pretty soon, and an exciting video coming out as well pretty soon, and an SC430 mods product video coming soon as well. So yeah, that's about it. I'll make sure to add anything I need to in this video if I forgot specific information. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate everybody's support, even though I, screwed up this one time with the file corruption. I'll make sure to keep backups and make sure that the video's done before I delete the backups. But other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.